Good evening, friends. Pinvatuni. Welcome to our online broadcast here from the London Mindfulness Meditation Center. Thank you for joining with us this evening to our daily worship, chanting, short Dhamma reflection, food for thought, and Metta meditation. We go live every day during the evening hours at 7 o'clock so that you can participate from home or wherever you are, and especially commit yourself during this rains retreat towards your spiritual development, and also dedicate it to those that you would want to bless, and especially during this time of difficulty and uncertainty, wishing everyone well and happiness, especially good health, would be an ideal aspirations that we can make from our part. It also provides opportunity for the devotees and so that they can accumulate merit as well as to bless their loved ones. Today the puja is sponsored by Mr. Aruna and Mrs. Udeni Perera and family, and the intention is to bless the loved ones, family members and friends with good health and happiness. May everybody be well, happy and peaceful. May they stay blessed with good health during this time of difficulty and uncertainty, as well as to also bless their dear children who are in their tertiary education. May all the endeavors in their education be successful so that they can excel and have a very bright future. So we take this opportunity to bless the children on their studies, and also every aspirations be fulfilled. May all family members be well, happy and peaceful. So before we worship the Buddha, let us observe 5 precepts. Please say Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa 3 times. Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Saṅghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Saṅghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Saṅghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Pānātipātā vēramaṇī sikkhapaдаṃ samādhiyāmi. Adinādānā vēramaṇī sikkhapaдаṃ samādhiyāmi. Kāmesu miccācārā vēramaṇī sikkhapaдаṃ samādhiyāmi. Musāvādā vēramaṇī sikkhapadaṃ samādhiyāmi. Suramēraya majjapamā daṭṭhānā vēramaṇī sikkhapadaṃ samādhiyāmi. Tisaraṇena saddheṃ pañcasīlaṃ dhammaṃ sādhukaṃ surakkitaṃ kattvā appamādena sampādetabbang. Let us worship the Buddha together. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Iti piso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho vijjācarana sampanno sugato lokavidu. Anuttaro purisa dhamma sarathi sattha deva manussanang buddho bhagavati. Buddhang jivita pariyantang saranang gacchami. Ye ca buddha atita ca ye ca buddha anagata paccapanna ca ye buddha ahang vandami sambada. Natti me saranang anyang buddho me saranang varang. Etene sacca vajjene hotu me jaya mangalang. Uttamangena vandehang padapang savaruttamang. Buddheyo kalito dosa buddho kametu tang mamang. Swakato bhagavata dhammo sandittiko akaliko. Ehi passiko openaiko paccattang veditabbo vinyuhiti. Dhammang jivita pariyantang saranang gacchami. Ye ca dhamma atita ca ye ca dhamma anagata. Paccapanna ca ye dhamma ahang vandami sambada. Natti me saranang anyang dhammo me saranang varang. Etena sacca vajjene hotu me jaya mangalang. Uttamangena vandehang dhamman ca tividhang varang. Dhammiyo kalito dosa dhammo kametu tang mamang. Supatipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho. Ujupatipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho. Nyāyapatipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho. Samici patipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho. Yadidang cattari purisa yugani atte purisa puggala. Esa bhagavato sāvaka sangho. Ahuneyo pahuneyo dakhineyo anjali karaniyo. Anuttarang punyakkhetang lokassati. සංඝං ජීවිත පරියන්තං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි යේච සංඝා අතීතා ච යේච සංඝා අනාගතා පච්චප්පන්නා ච යේ සංඝා අහං වන්දාමි සම්බදා නත්ථි මේ සරණං අඤ්ඤං සංඝෝ මේ සරණං වරං ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන හෝතු මේ ජය මංගලං උත්තමංගේන වන්දේහං සංඝං ච ත්‍රිවිධෝත්තමං සංඝේයෝ කලිතෝ දෝසෝ සංඝෝ කමෙතු තං මමං කනසාරප්පදිත්තේන දීපේන තමදංසිනා තිලෝකදීපං සම්බුද්ධං පූජයාමි තමෝනුදං වන්නගන්ධ ගුණෝපේතං ඒතං කුසුම සන්තතින් පූජයාමි මුනින්දස්ස සිරිපාද සරෝරුහේ පූජේමි බුද්ධං කුසුමේන නේන පුඤ්ඤේන මේතේන ච හෝතු මොක්ඛං පුප්පං මිලායාති යතායි ධම්මේ කායෝ තථායාති විනාශ භාවං අධිවාසේතුනෝ බන්තේ පානීයං පරිකප්පිතං අනුකම්පං උපාදාය පටිගන්නාත උත්තමේ අධිවාසේතුනෝ බන්තේ ගිලාන පච්චයං ඉමං අනුකම්පං උපාදාය පටිගන්නාතු උත්තමේ අධිවාසේතුනෝ බන්තේ බේසජ්ජං පරිකප්පිතං අනුකම්පං උපාදාය පටිගන්නාතු උත්තමේ අධිවාසේතුනෝ බන්තේ සම්බං සද්ධාය පූජිතං අනුකම්පං උපාදාය පටිගන්නාතු උත්තමේ වන්දාමි චේතියං සබ්බං සබ්බඨානේ සුපතිට්ඨිතං සාරීරික ධාතු මහා බෝධින් බුද්ධ රූපං සකලං සදා යස්ස මූලේ නිසින්නෝව සම්බාරි විජයං අකා පත්තෝ සබ්බඤ්ඤුතං සත්තා වන්දේතං බෝධිපාදපං ඉමේ ඒතේ මහා බෝධි ලෝකනාතේන පූජිතා අහම්පිතේ නමස්සාමි බෝධි රාජා නමත්තේ කායේන වාචා චිත්තේන පමාදේන මයා කතං අච්චයං කමමේ බන්තේ බුරි පඤ්ඤේ තථාගත කායේන වාචා චිත්තේන පමාදේන මයා කතං අච්චයං කමමේ ධම්ම සන්දිට්ඨික අකාලික කායේන වාචා චිත්තේන පමාදේන මයා කතං අච්චයං කමමේ සංඝ සුපටිපන්න අනුත්තර එතාවතා ච අම්හෙහි සම්බතං පුඤ්ඤ සම්පදං සබ්බේ දේවා අනුමෝදන්තු සබ්බ සම්පත්ති සිද්ධියා එතාවතා ච අම්හෙහි සම්බතං පුඤ්ඤ සම්පදං සබ්බේ භූතා අනුමෝදන්තු සබ්බ සම්පත්ති සිද්ධියා එතාවතා ච අම්හෙහි සම්බතං පුඤ්ඤ සම්පදං සබ්බේ සත්තා අනුමෝදන්තු සබ්බ සම්පත්ති සිද්ධියා ඉදම්මේ ඥාතේනං හෝතු සුඛිතා හොන්තු ඥාතයෝ ඉදම්මේ ඥාතේනං හෝතු සුඛිතා හොන්තු ඥාතයෝ ඉදම්මේ ඥාතේනං හෝතු සුඛිතා හොන්තු ඥාතයෝ ඉමිනා පුඤ්ඤ කම්මේන මාමේ බාල සමාගමෝ සතං සමාගමෝ හෝතු යාව නිබ්බාන පත්තියා ඉදම්මේ පුඤ්ඤං ආසවක්ඛයා වහං හෝතු සබ්බ දුක්ඛා පමුංචතු Today we will chant Ratana Sutta, Jinapanjara Sutta, Mahachundathera Bhujanga Sutta and Jai Paritta to wish you all good health and happiness. May you and your loved ones stay blessed with good health during this time of difficulty and uncertainty. May everyone that you dedicate this to, especially who may have been affected by illnesses or even COVID-19, maybe Sri Lanka, here in the UK and in Nepal and India, please do bear them in your thoughts, wishing them speedy recovery. May all the treatment they are being given or taking be successful for their speedy and complete recovery. May they soon be able to enjoy good health and happiness. And we also dedicate the chanting, as always, to our key workers, including NHS staff, doctors and nurses, and all volunteers. May they all be blessed with good health. May they also develop courage and determination to continue their valuable services to the nation. And we also specially dedicate and bless the sponsors, Mr. Aruna Perera and Mrs. Udeni Perera, and children who have come to the Vihara to make offerings. May they all be well, happy and peaceful. May all their righteous aspirations be fulfilled. May all the family members and friends also be well, happy and peaceful. May they all be blessed with good health and happiness. May the education of the children be successful. May they overcome every hurdles and make their success in education. May they excel and may they have a very bright future. So with such righteous intention, the parents are joining us in blessing the children as well. So we are going to chant the suttas. If you are dedicating to anyone, please do share our link so that they can listen to the chanting when we chant live here, and if they wish to, or if they are able to listen to. Samanta Chakravalesu Atra Gachantu Devata Saddhammang Munirajassa Sunantu Sagga Mokkadang Paritta Savanakalu Ayang Bhadanta Paritta Savanakalu Ayang Bhadanta Paritta Dhamma Savanakalu Ayang Bhadanta Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Yani bhutani samagatani bhummani vayani vayantalikhe Sabbeva bhuta sumana bhavantu athopi sakkacca sunantu bhasitang tasmahi bhutani sametha sabbe mettang karota manusiya pajaya divaca ratto ca haranti e baling tasmahi nirakkata appamatta yang kince vittang idhva hurang vasagge suvayang ratanang panitang nano samang atti tathagatene idampi buddhe ratanang panitang etena saccena suvatti hotu Kayang viragang ametang panitang yadajjaga sakya muni samahito Natena dhammena samatte kinci idampi dhamme ratanang panitang etena saccena suvatti hotu Yang buddha setta parivannai sucing samadhimanantari kanyamahu samadhina tena samona vijjati idampi dhamme ratanang panitang etena saccena suvatti hotu Ye puggala atta satang pasattha cattari etani yugani honti te dakhineya sugatassa savaka ete sudinnani mahappalani Idampi sanghe ratanang panitang etena saccena suvatti hotu Ye suppayutta manasa dalhene nikamino gotama sasanamhi Te patti patta amatang vigaiha laddha mudha nibbuting bunjamana Idampi sanghe ratanang panitang etena saccena suvatti hotu Yatinda kihilo pathaving sito siya chatubhivate bhiya sampakampiyo Tatupamang sappurisang vadami yo ariya saccani avecca passati Idampi sanghe ratanang panitang etena saccena suvatti hotu Ye ariya saccani vibhavayanti gambhira panyena sudesitani Kincapi te honti busappamatta nate bhavang attamang adiyanti Idampi sanghe ratanang panitang etena saccena suvatti hotu Sahavassa dassana sampadaya tayassu dhamma jahita bhavanti Sakkaya ditti vicikiccitanca silabbatang vapi yadatti kinci Catuha paye ca vippamutto cacabithanani abhabbo katung Idampi sanghe ratanang panitang etena saccena suvatti hotu Kincapi sokammang karoti papakang kayena vaca udaceta sava abhabboso tassa paticchādāye abhabbatā dittha padassa vutta idampi sanghe ratanang panītaṃ etena saccena suvattiyotu vanapagumbe yatā pussitagge gimhāna māse patamasmiṃ gimhe tathapamang dhamma varang adesai nibbānagāmiṃ paramang hitāye idampi buddhe ratanang panītaṃ etena saccena suvattiyotu varo varanya varado varaharo anuttaro dhamma varang adesai idampi buddhe ratanang panītaṃ etena saccena suvattiyotu kīnaṃ purānaṃ navaṃ natte sambhavaṃ viratta cittā āyatike bhavasmiṃ te kīna bījā avirulhecchanda nibbanti dhīrā yatāyaṃ padīpo idampi sanghe ratanang panītaṃ etena saccena suvattiyotu yāni dabhūtāni samāgatāni bummāni vāyāni vayantalikhe tathāgataṃ deva manussa pūjitaṃ buddhaṃ namassāma suvattiyotu yāni dabhūtāni samāgatāni bummāni vāyāni vayantalikhe tathāgataṃ deva manussa pūjitaṃ dhammaṃ namassāma suvattiyotu yāni dabhūtāni samāgatāni bummāni vāyāni vayantalikhe tathāgataṃ deva manussa pūjitaṃ saṅgham namassāma suvattiyotu etena sacca vajjena dukkha vupasamintu te etena sacca vajjena bhaya vupasamintu te etena sacca vajjena roga vupasamintu te evaṃ me sutaṃ ekaṃ samayaṃ bhagavā rājagahe viharati veluvane kalandaka nivāpe tena kopana samayena bhagavā ābādiko hoti dukkito bālhagilāno atako āyasmā mahāchundo sāyanha samayaṃ patisallānā vuttito yena bhagavā tena upasaṅkamitva bhagavantaṃ abhivādetva ekamantaṃ nisinnaṃ ko āyasmantaṃ mahāchundaṃ bhagavā etadavoce patibhantu taṃ chunda bojjhangāti sattime bhante bojjhanga bhagavata sammedakkāta bhavita bahulikata abhiññāya sambodhāya nibbānāya samvattanti katame satta sati sambojjhango ko bante bhagavata sammedakkāto bhavito bahulikato abhiññāya sambodhāya nibbānāya samvattati Dhamma vicaya sambojjhango ko bhante bhagavata sammedakkāto bhavito bahulikato abhiññāya sambodhāya nibbānāya samvattati Viriya sambojjhango bhante bhagavata sammedakkato bhavito bahulikato abhinyaya sambodhaya nibbanaya samvattati Piti sambojjhango bhante bhagavata sammedakkato bhavito bahulikato abhinyaya sambodhaya nibbanaya samvattati Passaddhi sambojjhango bhante bhagavata sammedakkato bhavito bahulikato abhinyaya sambodhaya nibbanaya samvattati Samadhi sambojjhango bhante bhagavata sammedakkato bhavito bahulikato abhinyaya sambodhaya nibbanaya samvattati Upekha sambojjhango bhante bhagavata sammedakkato bhavito bahulikato abhinyaya sambodhaya nibbanaya samvattati Imeko bhante sattabojjhanga bhagavata sammedakkhata bhavita bahulikata abhinyaya sambodhaya nibbanaya samvattanti Tagga chunda bojjhanga bojjhangati Idamavochayasma mahachundo samanunyo satta ahosi Uttahi cha bhagava tamha abadha tatha pahino cha bhagavato so abadho ahositi Etena sacca vajjena rogavupasamintute Etena sacca vajjena rogavupasamintute Etena sacca vajjena rogavupasamintute Jayasanagata virajetva marang savahining Chatu saccamatara sangyepi vingsu narasabha Tanhankaradayo buddha atthavi satinayaka Sabbe patittita tuihang mattakete munissara Sire patittita buddha dhammo ca tavalocane Sangho patittito tuihang ure sabba gunakaro Hadaye anuruddho ca sariputto ca dakkine Kondanyo pitti bhagasming moggallano sivamake Dakkine savane tuihang ahung anandarahula Kassapo ca mahanamo ubosung vamasotake Kesante pitti bhagasming suryo viyapabankaro Nisenno siri sampanno sobhito munipungavo Kumara Kassapo nama mahesi chitravadako Sotuihang vadane niccang patittasi gunakaro Punno angulimaloce upali nandasivali Thera panchaime jata lalate tilakatave Sesasiti mahathera vijita jinesavaka Jalanta sila tejene angamangesu santita රතනං පුරතෝ ආසි දක්ඛිනේ මෙත්ත සුත්තකං දජග්ගං පච්චතෝ ආසි වාමේ අංගුලිමාලකං කන්දමෝර පරිත්තංච ආටානාටිය සුත්තකං ආකාසච්ච දනං ආසි සේසාපාකාර සංඤිතා ජිනානා බල සංයුත්තේ ධම්මපාකාර ලංකතේ වසතෝ තේ චතුකිච්චේන සදා සම්බුද්ධ පංජරේ වාතපිත්තාදි සංජාතා බාහිරජ්ජත්තු පද්දවා අසේසා විලයං යන්තු අනන්ත ගුණ තේජසා ජින පංජර මජ්ජට්ඨං විහරන්තං මහීතලේ සදා පාලෙන්තු ත්වං සබ්බේ තේ මහා පුරිසාසභා ඉච්ඡේව මච්ඡන්ත කතෝ සුරක්ඛ ජිනානුභාවේන ජිතෝපපද්දවෝ බුද්ධානුභාවේන හතාරි සංඝෝ චරාහි සද්ධම්මනුභාව පාලිතෝ ඉච්ඡේව මච්ඡන්ත කතෝ සුරක්ඛ ජිනානුභාවේන ජිතෝපපද්දවෝ ධම්මානුභාවේන හතාරි සංඝෝ චරාහි සද්ධම්මනුභාව පාලිතෝ ඉච්ඡේව මච්ඡන්ත කතෝ සුරක්ඛ ජිනානුභාවේන ජිතෝපපද්දවෝ සංඝානුභාවේන හතාරි සංඝෝ චරාහි සද්ධම්මනුභාව පාලිතෝ සද්ධම්ම පාකාර පරික්ඛිතෝසි අට්ඨාරියාට්ඨ දිසාසු හොන්ති එත්තන්තරේ අට්ඨනාතා භවಂತಿ උද්ධං විතානං වජිනාටිතාතේ පින්දන්තෝ මාරසේනං තව සිරසිටිතෝ බෝධිමාරුය්‍ය සත්තහා මොග්ගල්ලානෝ සිවාමි වසති භුජතටේ දක්ඛිනේ සාරිපුත්තෝ ධම්මෝ මජ්ජේ උරස්මින් විහෙරති භවතෝ මොක්ඛතෝ මෝරයෝනිං සම්පත්තෝ බෝධිසත්තෝ චරණ යුගගතෝ භානුලෝකේකනාථෝ සම්භාව මංගලම පන්දව දුන්නිමිත්තං සබ්බීති රෝග ගාදෝසමසේස නින්දා සබ්බන්තරාය බය දස්සපිනං අකන්තං බුද්ධානුභාව පවරේන පයාතුනාසං සබ්බාව මංගලම පද්දව දුන්නිමිත්තං සබ්බීති රෝග ගාදෝසමසේස නින්දා සබ්බන්තරාය බය දස්සපිනං අකන්තං ධම්මානුභාව පවරේන පයාතුනාසං සබ්බාව මංගලම පන්දව දුන්නිමිත්තං සබ්බීති රෝග ගාදෝසමසේස නින්දා සබ්බන්තරාය බය දස්සපිනං අකන්තං සංඝානුභාව පවරේන පයාතුනාසං සිරිදිතිමති තේජෝ ජය සිද්ධි මහිද්දි මහාගුණං අපරිමිත පුඤ්ඤාදිකාරස්ස සබ්බන්තරාය නිවාරණ සමත්තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස ද්වත්තෙන් සමහා පුරිස ලක්ඛනානුභාවේන අසිත්‍යනු ව්‍යංජන ලක්ඛනානුභාවේන අට්ඨතර සත මංගල ලක්ඛනානුභාවේන සබ්බන්නරං ස්යානුභාවේන කේතුමාලානුභාවේන දස පාරමිතානුභාවේන දස උපපාරමිතානුභාවේන දස පරමත්ත පාරමිතානුභාවේන සීල සමාධි පඤ්ඤානුභාවේන බුද්ධානුභාවේන ධම්මානුභාවේන සංඝානුභාවේන තේජානුභාවේන ඉද්ධානුභාවේන බලානුභාවේන ඤේය ධම්මානුභාවේන චතුරාසීති සහස්ස ධම්මක්ඛන්ධානුභාවේන නවලෝකුත්තර ධම්මානුභාවේන අට්ඨංගික මග්ගානුභාවේන අට්ඨ සමාපත්ත්‍යානුභාවේන චල විඤ්ඤානුභාවේන මෙත්තා කරුණා මුදිතා උපේක්ඛානුභාවේන සම්බ පාරමිතානුභාවේන රතනත්තය සරණානුභාවේන ත්‍විහං සබ්බ රෝග ශෝක උපද්දව දුක්ඛ දෝමනස්ස පායාසා විනස්සන්තු සබ්බ සංකප්පා ත්‍විහං සමිජ්ජන්තු දීඝායුකෝ හෝතු සතවස්ස ජීවේන සමංගිකෝ හෝතු සබ්බදා ආකාශ පම්බත වන භූමි තටාක ගංගා මහා සමුද්ද ආරක්කක දේවතා සදා තුම්හෙ අනුරක්ඛන්තු සම්බ බුද්ධානුභාවේන සබ්බ ධම්මානුභාවේන සබ්බ සංඝානුභාවේන බුද්ධ රතනං ධම්ම රතනං සංඝ රතනං තින්නං රතනානං ආනුභාවේන චතුරාසීති සහස්ස ධම්මක්ඛන්ධානුභාවේන පිටකත්තයානුභාවේන ජින ශාවකානුභාවේන සබ්බේතේ රෝගා සබ්බේතේ භයා සම්බේතේ අන්තරායා සම්බේතේ උපද්දවා සම්බේතේ දුන්නිමිත්තා සම්බේතේ අවමංගලා විනස්සන්තු ආයු වඩ්ඩකෝ ධන වඩ්ඩකෝ සිරි වඩ්ඩකෝ යස වඩ්ඩකෝ බල වඩ්ඩකෝ වන්න වඩ්ඩකෝ සුඛ වඩ්ඩකෝ හෝතු සම්බදා දුක්ඛ රෝග භය වේරා සෝකා සබ්බේ පද්දවා අනේකා අන්තරායාපි විනස්සන්තු ච තේජසා ජය සිද්ධි ධනං ලාභං සොත්ති භාග්‍යං සුඛං බලං සිරියායුච වන්නෝ ච භෝගං බුද්ධි ච යසවා සතවස්සාච ආයුච ජීව සිද්ධි භවන්තු තේ දේවෝ වස්සතු කාලේන සස්ස සම්පත්ති හේතුච පීතෝ භවතු ලෝකෝ ච රාජා භවතු ධම්මිකෝ ආකාසට්ඨා ච බුම්මට්ඨා දේවානාගා මහිද්దికා පුඤ්ඤන්තං අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරං රක්ඛන්තු ලෝක සාසනං ආකාසට්ඨා ච බුම්මට්ඨා දේවානාගා මහිද්దికා පුඤ්ඤන්තං අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරං රක්ඛන්තු ධම්ම දේශනං ආකාසට්ඨා ච බුම්මට්ඨා දේවානාගා මහිද්దికා පුඤ්ඤන්තං අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරං රක්ඛන්තු මං පරන්ති සාදු සාදු. May the blessings of the Buddha Dhamma Sangha embodied in the chantings be conducive for the well-being of you and your loved ones. And may all those that you had in your mind, that may they all be well, happy and peaceful. May all the treatment they are being given be successful for their speedy and complete recovery. May they soon be able to enjoy good health. May all the key workers, including NHS staff, doctors and nurses, be blessed with good health. May they also develop courage and determination to continue their valuable services. And we especially dedicate the chanting to our sponsors, Mr. Arun Pera and Mrs. Deni Pera and family. According to the intentions, this sponsorship and the puja and the blessing is for the success of their children's education. They are into tertiary education. May they excel in the education. May they overcome every barriers. May they overcome every difficulties and make the education a successful one, and may they have a very bright future. May all the family members and loved ones and friends be blessed with good health throughout this time of difficulty and uncertainty. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So it is time for a short reflection, and as you listened to the Gatha yesterday, this is verse number 203 in the Dhammapada, which is a book with the collection of Buddha's advice given to depending on the situation, and also the recall or reminder of the Dhamma to suit the circumstance or the incident. So yesterday, when we referred to the story, there was a poor farmer who had come to hear the Buddha in a state of hunger, and the Buddha, noticing that before preaching, requested the steward to give some food to the hungry man. And so therefore, sometimes when you visit to a place of worship, even in the Buddhist temples, you sometimes are able to consume some food that is there, as well as the sponsors or the donors might also feed you. So that is also a tradition that started during the Buddha's time. So someone who came to listen to the Dhamma, if they are hungry, it looks like the Buddha did not give a talk or a sermon. However, some monks were quite indignant and asked, and then the Buddha uttered this verse: Jigacha parama roga, sankhara parama dukkha, etang nyatva yatha bhutang nibbanang paramang sukhang. Hunger is the greatest disease or affliction. Aggregates are the greatest ill. Knowing this as it is, really, the wise realize the supreme bliss of Nibbana. So, the reason perhaps, as if you remember when we chant the suttas on the Giriman Sutta, there are some illnesses mentioned. A quick reference to those sutta. So, what types of illnesses are there? And so the body is full of suffering, it has many dangers. Thus in this body various afflictions arise, that are illness of the eye, illness of the ear, nose, tongue, body, head, ear, mouth, teeth, cough, asthma, catarrh, heat, fever, illness of the abdomen, fainting, dysentery, acute pain, cholera, leprosy, abscesses, cutaneous diseases, probably leprosy, consumption, epilepsy, so a cutaneous eruption, probably from ringworms. And this is according to the translation of this person. So itchiness, scabs, nail scratch causing wounds, scabies, affection through body and bowel, diabetes, paralysis, cancer, ulcers, affliction arising from bile, affliction arising from phlegm, afflictions arising from wind or water, affliction arising from the union of humors of the body, affliction arising from the changes of seasons, afflictions arising from discrepant attention to the body, spasmodic afflictions, and afflictions arising from the result of karma, cold, heat. And then here there is this word which we refer in the Gatha, jigacha, hunger, affliction arising from hunger, thirst, fecal matters and urine. So there are lots of affliction in the Giriman and the Sutta, and in this case this is about jigacha. Hunger is the greatest illness. Now the reason for this, obviously we know that there are no treatment for certain illnesses, but the reference to this is because this is something that we attend to maybe more than 3 times a day, morning, afternoon and evening, yet this never ceases to exist, and when you eat you are quite okay, and a few moments later you actually are hungry again. So it never disappears, so hunger is always there. And and everything is sometimes quite perhaps to feed ourselves. Most importantly, I know we build up our lives, but obviously we sometimes can think that we perhaps earn or we gather. So from the hunting and the gatherers' time, the gathering was quite importantly to feed their appetite or desires or even hunger. And this is why, so if you focus on that alone, obviously it is going to be a problem. That's why those who observe 8 precepts, we have a precept to manage the timely eating. So untimely eating or eating at untime or beyond your allocated times could be vikala bhojana, so not to actually eat at wrong times. And in the 10 questions at the beginning of the Paritta books, there is a reference of what is the first thing that is the most important thing. So ekanama king, and then ahare sabbe satta aharatitita, all living beings are based on food or based on the living. So, but however, the Buddha says we shouldn't give priority to the food, although hunger is the greatest illness. So it is, in this case, the reference is that when you are hungry, obviously sometimes it causes serious problems, not just from pain, but also your state of mind becomes affected, it gets affected. So we know from the Buddha knows this from experience, perhaps during the 6 years of his austerity practice or duskara kriya. The Buddha gave up food at one time to see whether it was the path to liberation, but somehow he nearly fainted, he nearly passed away, died, and therefore even avoiding food to the extreme would be an extreme in itself, and even to actually indulge or binge in the eating is also a problem in itself. So eating, we do depend on food, or every living being depends on this treatment or the existence on the food, but that should not be the priority, as we all know. It should be in moderation to suit your perhaps just a sustenance wise, or to suit your needs, so that you can maintain yourself, sustain yourself. And I remember referring to the Pachavekana, or the reflection that monks are supposed to do when they partake of food or when they eat food. So what is that reflection that monks make, and perhaps the devotees who observe 8 precepts or 10 precepts make? So carefully, with proper care or intention, I use my food, not for sport, not for manly vigor, not for ornamentation, not for adornment, but only for the purpose of standing and sustenance of this body, to take non-delight in hurting, to help me live the holy life, that is the life of celibacy, and also to get rid of the uncomfortable previous sensations or experience or pain due to hunger. I shall not produce new uncomfortable sensation due to overfilling, and the continuation of my life will carry on. So it is about that mindfulness in eating that actually generates this happiness. It is about the sustenance, simply as that. So therefore, when people can be hungry, then it can really affect their behavior, their patterns of their mood sometimes, and sometimes even their temperament. So it is quite important to realize this, and if there is a matter of a disease in terms of hunger, simply is to make sure you consume something so that the uncomfortableness or the discomfort erases or eradicates and allows you to have a good maintenance or good living. Aggregates are the greatest ill. So in terms of the suffering, as you know, this is the second line of the Dhammapada in this Gatha, Aggregates is the greatest suffering. So what do you think this means? Obviously we know that aggregates are 5 in number: Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana. And there is this reference to this even in the first sermon, and also we have referred to some time ago in terms of the suffering that is there from the moments of being conditioned. So there is the body, feeling, perception, mental states, and consciousness. And the suffering that arises from these is that the acceptance or the understanding that there is something to as yourself, or there is something that exists, and this is called Sakkaya Ditthi. And the moment we actually grasp that, we fail to understand that there is impermanent nature within that as well. So what happens is that we hold on to something that is not there, but simply perhaps an experience or a memory. And say, for example, you see maybe a flower, and then you think of maybe an orange, for example. So the idea that arises in the mind is not of the flower at all, but yet if we visit and try to remember or see that flower again, we are literally thinking of a flower that is existing, but which literally is not there in the present moment. So therefore, anything that we actually cling on to as these mental states is the cause of suffering. That is why the Buddha said in the first sermon, essentially the clinging to the 5 aggregates is true suffering. And this clinging, as we have referred to in the past, is not done by the flower, the orange, or even the sound or taste or anything that we encounter, but that clinging is done because of the acknowledgement that there is someone or something as what the self is to experience, and that the object also is there continuously, and therefore not seeing that they are in the changing nature and grasping and identifying itself as a permanent entity brings that suffering to us. And therefore sankhara parama dukkha, these mental states or these conditioned states of our mind, one being conditioned due to the changing natures or due to the acceptance of that there is everything is for permanent and personalizing incidents or events. So this is what I mean by conditioned moments in ourselves. These are the ones that bring this suffering or greatest illness. So when etang nyatva yatha bhuta means as it is or as it is happening, etang nyatva to see or to understand or to comprehend, nibbanang paramaสุkhang, because you are not clinging or you are not you're engaging with it in such a such state brings that peace. So nibbana means to free yourself from those engagement or free yourselves from those misunderstandings. And when you are free from that self-conditioned suffering, that is the greatest happiness. So this is a very short reflection, yet very deep, and there is a lot to take in. Hunger is the greatest disease, as we all know. We need to look after hunger to maintain ourselves, because in the question asked to a novice by the Buddha one time, so Ekanama King, Sabbe Satta Aharatita, all living beings rely on sustenance, but that should not be the point of living. That should only be food should be just to eradicate your illnesses and your maintenance. So let us free ourselves from all mental states, however possible, whenever possible, and live in the present moment. Be mindful to live in the present moment, so that we can experience that state of unconditioned gradually. So with that short reflection, we will now do Metta Bhavana to conclude this program. So please adjust yourself if necessary. Take a convenient posture. So once you have stopped moving and adjusted yourself, Let us conduct ourselves in this present moment. So, as it is. So we are sitting, and if you observe your body, the upper body is straight, balanced, not moving. Since you are sitting down, your body is bent at the hips and knees, and perhaps there are points of contact on which you are sitting, and also your feet firm on the floor. There can be maybe slight sensation, whether it is pain or whether it is discomfort. Don't judge it, don't personalize it, don't attend to it in such a way that you are developing dissatisfaction or opinions about it. So if there is an itchiness, note the itchiness. If there is discomfort, just note it, don't react to it. Be mindful of the family members that may be around you, participating with you, and without any judgment, those who are not participating but present at home. Be mindful that there are many family members participating online with you. And again, coming back to yourself, observe that statue-like, calm, still, peaceful body. There is no movement. There is no restlessness in the body and the mind. Even your mind is calm and peaceful because we are not thinking of the past and worrying on things or planning for the next minute. We are just here peacefully committing yourself, so there is no restlessness. If you are looking for things or working on things, your mind is very active, but now it is still. And as we all know, one of the first few criteria laid out is to have that calm senses, Santindriya in the Metta Sutta. So even for loving kindness, you need to calm your senses. Calming your eyes means not looking through your eyes or your mental eye, looking for things. Ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. The more you look for things, the more there is dissatisfaction, because sometimes we are never satisfied. So few moments of freeing yourself from that type of expectation always brings that happiness and peace. Free yourselves from every expectation. Free yourself from every thoughts for a while. And take a few minutes to observe that peaceful breathing. Just watch that flow of breath in that statue-like body. Something happening without your regulation, without you controlling. So simply watch the in-breath as it is flowing into your lungs. And watch it come out as well. Breathing in, breathing out. And stay with that breath throughout, just watching that breath. No judgment, no planning to take the next breath, but simply experience that precious breath that survives you. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. With that peace of mind, now bring into your thoughts loving kindness, metta, altruistic, compassionate feeling, benevolent attitude, a feeling or that sense of well-being that you experience, that you wish for others, is not contractual. You're not doing it because you know these people. It is something that you use or that you can do so that you can transform yourself the way you interact with people. This requires mindfulness. This requires mindfulness all the time, not just at times of good moments, but also at times of difficult and challenging moments. We are kind to ourselves. We are kind to those that you associate with. And most importantly, you need to begin that by being kind to yourself. Being aware that the state of mind actually affects your body and your mind. Do we do things that harm ourselves or hurts ourselves? Do we think things? Do we eat things? So what we do is about that loving kindness. And we can transform other people, ourselves to fit, which might simply be accepting who they are sometimes. So you can forgive out of loving kindness. We don't need to hold on to memories. Simply see the person as a new person. So you change your way of interacting with them. You change your way of talking to them out of kindness. And we can be grateful for that moment. So metta requires constant working. It is a growing, developing attitude. So the opposite of metta would be impatience, jealousy, envy, dissatisfaction, perhaps every moment of our experiences. So free yourself from those negative thinking and develop patience, develop that kindness, that readiness to be a listener, to give a helping hand. And even if it is whether you are driving, whether you are studying, whether you are working, whether you are cooking, everything can be done out of loving kindness. So where there is kindness, loving kindness, even the impossible sometimes can be possible. Where there is nothing, even the possible things becomes impossible. So be that source of change, be that source of happiness. These lines are just to guide you. They are not definite, so you have to skip the stations that do not relate to you, but simply maintain your focus on that well-being thoughts. Don't bring any memories, but simply wish everyone happy. May I be well, happy and peaceful. May I be blessed with good health. May no harm come to me. May no problems come to me. May no difficulties come to me. May I always meet with success. May I also have the patience, courage and understanding to meet and overcome difficulties in life. May I be free from pain and suffering. Likewise, may my parents, grandparents, teachers, uncles and aunts and in-laws, children, sons-in-law, daughters-in-law, grandchildren, brothers, sisters, brothers-in-law, sisters-in-law, cousins, nephews and nieces, friends and colleagues at work, everybody in this online community, everybody in your neighborhood. May they all be well, happy and peaceful. May they all be blessed with good health. May no harm come to them. May no problems come to them. May no difficulties come to them. May they always meet with success. May they also have the patience, courage and understanding to meet and overcome difficulties in life. May they be free from pain and suffering. May all living beings, including your pets, birds, animals and insects that come to your garden, seen and unseen beings, including all sentient beings, be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to them. May no problems come to them. May no difficulties come to them. May they always meet with success. May they also have the patience, courage and determination to meet and overcome difficulties in life. May they be free from pain and suffering. May I be well, happy and peaceful. May I be free from pain and suffering. With that brief Metta Bhavana, we come to the close of this online broadcast today. So thank you for joining us this evening to our daily Puja, chanting, Dhamma reflection and meditation. Do join with us again tomorrow, same time. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Stay safe. Take care. Have a very good evening and good night. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow at 7.